learn how to hack your hormones. So, we do lots of talking around hormones at Welfy in our workshops because we believe that understanding just the fundamentals of some of our key hormones can help us to demystify what can be quite a cloud of feelings sometimes. You can feel anxious, you can feel stressed, you can feel overwhelmed, and just not be able to unknot that. And yet, if you can understand the hormones that are driving a lot of those feelings, you can decode it and make sense of it and actually feel a lot more in control. And I don't know about you, but despite my very best efforts and knowledge over the lockdown, I have definitely suffered from a feeling of malaise some days, a complete lack of productivity. Like, I was going to plan this out days ago, but it happened today because I needed the motivation and the deadline. And that's not me. That's just a feeling of that you get when we're all under the pressures and the stress that we are. So I want to share just the least obvious of our hacks from the Welfy workshops to enable the audience to try them out and to get a much needed boost to their feeling of well-being. They're really simple and they're really easy to try. So I hope that you like these. So first of all, we have to talk about the not so happy hormones, and those are adrenaline and cortisol. And I'm sure everybody knows this, but they are the stress response hormones, and they are overworked right now. We are all feeling a lot more stressed than normal. And the fact that they are being so overworked is partly why we're all feeling a little lethargic versus our normal best selves. They are not bad. Adrenaline and cortisol kept us safe for many, many hundreds, thousands of years when we were running around in caves and being chased by saber-toothed tigers. That is our fight and flight response. It's what kept us alive. But now we're almost in constant state of anxiety and fear. And I heard someone the other day say, I just feel like a hummingbird trapped between two panes of glass. And I thought, what a great explanation. That's how I feel sometimes. It's like, and you can feel it in your body in different ways, but it's not good. And it's not good at all, short term or long term, to be in that state. It can have really, really serious implications for our long term health. We are not evolved to be feeling that way as regularly as we currently are. So there are lots of pretty obvious ways to tackle it. You know, the meditation, the mindfulness, the deep breathing exercises. But there's a really interesting and not so obvious one, which is to run your finger along your top lip very, very gently back and forth. I hope everybody is doing this with me, because otherwise I'll feel very silly. There are parasympathetic fibers in your top lip that activate your parasympathetic nervous system. So the parasympathetic nervous system is like the yin to the yang of the sympathetic nervous system. So on one side, you've got your fight or flight, and on the other side, you've got your rest and digest, calming nervous system. So you can basically hack into that just by doing that action. It should make you feel just slightly more relaxed. So let's say you're on a call and you're feeling suddenly triggered and angry and frustrated. So just sit and quite subtly be doing this will make you feel calmer. And then hopefully after that call, you can get out in nature, have a proper break, go grab a tea, whatever it is you need to climb down from that adrenaline rush. But it's just a cheeky little way, and I found it enormously useful since learning about that. So I hope it's one that you can all try out. So then we've got 4 hormones I'm going to go through and one little tip to try and hack it, and then this tip will be all done. So we're going to start with endorphins. That's the first of our 4 happy hormones. So endorphins are associated with a feeling of euphoria. They're stimulated by some illegal things that we won't talk about, also by alcohol and sad to say it, chocolate. And if you are a Paddison devout like me, then those things are all off the menu. So they're no good, and we need some other ideas. And there are some obvious ones. So endorphins are very commonly known to be associated with running. When you get that runner's high, it's actually endocannabinoids going around your bloodstream. Your endorphins are rushing, and it feels amazing. It feels like you could run through a wall. But you've got to get to quite a stage of the run or the cycle or whatever it is you're doing. We're talking about 20 minutes in of hard work to get to that high. So in the working from home world, we need a quicker hack. And my hack for this one is laughter. So laughing, it creates exactly the same response of triggering your endorphins. So I have myself a little library of ridiculously funny videos on YouTube. And if I'm having a bit of a trough and I feel like I need a little pick-me-up, rather than grabbing a bar of chocolate, I get myself some funny cat videos. I've got a bit of an obsession with watching cats who are frightened of cucumbers and other things that really, really make me laugh. And there'll be certain things that really make you laugh, whether it be people falling over, old reruns of Friends, like particular clips that crack you up. But we're talking belly laugh. It's got to really get your funny bone. And just having a little library of those can save your day. So that's endorphins. I will move on to oxytocin next.
And just whilst it's still current, to talk about, it just so happens that out of the blue, I reached out to a friend of mine called Mark McConville, who is a stand-up comic buddy of mine for a long time. And I am in the process of organising to interview him. I think we're scheduled for next Wednesday. And he is a laughter for health expert with a degree in this. And so he's going to share all of the health benefits of laughter across a full-length podcast interview shortly.
Great.
So yes, we can learn a lot more about the endorphins and other health benefits of laughter from a professional really soon. So I just wanted to share that as well.
That's great. I'll look forward to that one. Great. So number 2 hormone is oxytocin. So commonly known as the love hormone, but more accurately, it's actually the trust hormone. It's about creating trust, which triggers this. It's also stimulated by coffee, but again, off the menu. And this one might sound a little flippant, but the hack is hugging. Hugging creates oxytocin in your body, and that makes you feel great. And I've been reading a lot about this recently, and I found that the optimal number of hugs in a day is, have a guess.
Well, I don't think we can overdose on it. So I think that an adequate number to be able to feel well supported, loved, and secure in life might be maybe 3.
I thought that too. Apparently it's 8, so you need to up the quota. The good news is it can be humans and animals. So apparently hugging your pet dog can release just as much oxytocin as your partner. So this, I think, has got to be the silver lining of working from home. Trickier in the office, really, unless you're very pally. But, if you're just popping down, grabbing a cup of tea and you bump into your child, your dog, your other half, just grab a quick hug and explain, like, okay, that's number 5 of the day. Only 3 more to go. And that's such a simple thing. And hasn't that got to be a great thing? Even if you're not really feeling it, like just to get that hug. I don't think that's ever time poorly spent. And if you're not living with someone, you don't have pets, it's been found actually that positive visualizations can have almost as good an effect. So it might be having photographs on your desk of loved ones, holidays, your family that are further afield, can release oxytocin as well. So I love that one, the hugging hormone.
I'm glad we're having this conversation now and not when I was a teenager, because I would not have been able to take this conversation seriously.
I
I
know.
was such an immature teen. I would have been just interrupting you and just trying to hug the person next to me and being stupid and kissing someone to get the top lip activated. I mean, I can only handle this without being childish now as an adult.
We
Yeah.
welcome childish. It's all good.
Okay, great. What's this last one?
We've got two
The
more
last
hormones to go.
two more hormones.
So,
Okay.
serotonin's next. It's the happy hormone. Interestingly, this one's stored mostly in the gut. I find that interesting, particularly given what we know about the gut and RA. It is stimulated by exercise too, but also things like massage, try and behave, but also natural sunlight. So just another reason to get outside, to get sun on your skin and on your face in order to really boost that serotonin. So just another example of getting out, taking those breaks and feeling good rather than getting in a bigger and bigger trough working from home as the day drones on. And then finally, it's dopamine, which is the pursuit of pleasure hormone. This is what you get when you win on the races or the lottery, or even on a smaller scale, if you get a like on Instagram because you posted a picture of your cucumber and celery juice. But it can also be triggered in some smart little ways when you're working from home. So one way is what we call little finish lines. So you may already do this. I bet a lot of your listeners do this when they're working from home, but it's writing a list of the things that you want to achieve that day and drawing a little box next to each thing that you can then tick. Now, ticking those things as you go will create little rushes of dopamine as you do them. And that's why it feels good. And some people write things on lists just so they can tick them. And they probably don't know why. It's because it's actually creating a rush of dopamine.
I so agree. And what I'm doing is I'm just reading what my list is. My microphone is sitting on the most important book that I use each day. And so I'm just going to flash what that looks like.
Oh
and
my
what
God.
that is. It is a list with little boxes right next to them of all the things that I have to get done.
Like we planned it.
I know, like we planned it. That's hilarious. And I'm putting that book back under my microphone in its special spot. And that is, for me, such a dopamine hit. It's and you've just basically described what I had decided was why I like doing that. And on my list of things, like sometimes as small as clean up the fallen foliage underneath the backyard garden plants so that it looks neat and tidy. And I'll tick that, and it'll only take me 2 minutes to do that and put that into the green bin where the scraps go. But then I tick a box, and when I tick the box, I'm like, I'm achieving something today. I'm making progress, and it feels good, and accomplishments.
Yeah. And there's a lot of great project management tools now that do this brilliantly. Monday is the tool that we use at Welfy. And it does it beautifully. So when you turn something to done, it almost does like little fireworks for you. It's like a tick box on acid. It's good.
Yes.
So I'm going to give you one bonus one for dopamine because I really like it. And the final hack is to identify the songs that give you chills. Do you have a song that makes you go when you hear it?
I like I Remember You by Skid Row. Makes me feel like that, just because it brings back a lot of sort of feelings of a part of my life when I was like, very, feeling like just emotionally vulnerable and stuff. And some of these old rock ballads I like that make me feel like that. Yeah.
So for me, it's Florence and the Machine, The Dog Days Are Over. And I know, because I've become quite interested in this, that literally at 3 minutes and 8 seconds, that is when I'm going to get the chill up the back of the neck. And that's dopamine. It's a point where the vocal comes back in, and it's so powerful and so amazing. And same for me, it's a time in my life when that song came out, and it was just in a really happy, amazing place. But what's really fascinating to me is that it works every time.
Yeah.
And I tested it just before this call. I was like, does it definitely work? And I don't even have to listen to the whole song. So that is a hack that I can use if I'm having a bit of a dip in the day, or I'm just about to join a call and I want my energy to be good. I can use that. So having a little bank of songs that give you chills, knowing that you'll get that dopamine hit, is a really handy way to try and keep your energy high.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah.
that's the end of tip 3. I'm tipped out.